Stuart, what sort of game are we going to see? You know, when heavyweights in the Premier League meet this early in the season, often it can be quite a neutral game. It finished 1-1 last year at the Etihad. What do you expect this time?
I'm expecting an attacking game. Liverpool love to play on the counter-attack. Manchester City want to play on the front foot most of the time. Again, it's about could be about formations. Will Man City go to a back three, which will then try and nullify the wide players coming in so that the two wide centre-backs go up against them and they have a holding midfield player against Firmino. But I think it's going to be an outstanding game. I think they will play with the front two, Manchester City, and I think they'll cause Liverpool's back four problems. It'll also be good to see who Klopp will play in goal. Mignolet or Karius? I would still go with Mignolet.
Do you like Stewie's tactical breakdown there?
Well, yeah, I mean, I think he did say that after the game where Karius came in that Mignolet would still be his number one.
Yeah.
So I would expect him to come in. I think Klopp's decisions are a lot more simplified than Guardiola's. The start of Man City's season, I still think he's searching for the right balance and the right answers. With these new talented players coming in, with Mendy getting some game time, with Bernardo Silva getting some game time, with the rotation of the front two as a two as a one, you know. So I still think he's tinkering more with what's going to work best for this Man City squad, and I think that would be a worry for Liverpool at the weekend. I fancy Man City to get it right at home.
Stevie, Mignolet or Karius? Who's starting?
Oh, no question, Mignolet.
Yeah.
Listen, Karius, as much as Klopp's saying he was just playing Karius that one game to give him some time on the field, you've got to say Karius never did himself any favours whatsoever. Fortunately, Arsenal didn't get a shot on target, but with his feet, he was absolutely horrendous. And by the time the game was finished, people were kind of sniggering every time the ball went to the Karius' feet. So for me, it's easy. Mignolet starts. Karius played himself out.
Ian, you mentioned the start time, the Saturday lunchtime start to this game. Is that going to have an effect? What sort of game are we going to see?
You sometimes get a bit of a slow start, don't you, when it is a Saturday lunchtime game, and it's coming after the international break as well. But I think the chemistry between these two attacking sides means that it's probably going to be a very entertaining game. I think the best player in the Premier League so far this season has been Roberto Firmino. What shape he's in after the international break, we shall see. But he's been sensational so far. Liverpool usually give City a pretty good game, and I think they will again.
Yeah, they do have an excellent recent record against City. Doesn't affect the SPI, though. 54% favourites, Man City. Liverpool given just a 22% chance to go to the Etihad and win, 24% the draw. Stuart, what's your prognostication? What's going to happen?
I'm going to go with the 24%. I think it will be a good game, but I think it will be a draw. I think both sides will score. I think it'll be an excellent game.
So, Stewie with the draw. Ian, let's go to you next. Prediction?
2-2.
Oh, okay. Two draws.
No, wait, I don't want you to take a position.
Go along the line.
Was that probably Liverpool's best performance under Klopp 18 months ago?
4-1.
Yeah. Absolutely fantastic. Firmino, as the lads mentioned, was great. But I think with the big names getting fit for Man City, and David Silva is available, I believe, who's a fantastic little player. I'm going to go for City. I think they're only going to get better and better as the season goes on.
Okay.
I agree with Ian in the sense that the chemistry of both of these attacking teams will create chances, but also the lack of chemistry defensively for both of these teams will create chances for the other group. I believe that this is going to be a wide open game. Manchester City thrives in a game where they can really showcase their attacking talent and take Manchester City at home.
Two draws, two for City. Stevie?
I've got to go for a score draw.
He can't bring himself to say it. You can't say it. Yeah. I'll have to go for City.
He can't jinx him. He can't jinx him.
It's so set up for Liverpool to hit them on the counter. We know City are vulnerable, but Liverpool are vulnerable at the back as well. Right. And that's why I'm going for the score draw. Both sides will score goals.
You like Ian's 2-2 prediction, don't you?
I'll go with that as well.
On the other side of the ball, you've got Philip Coutinho after his
starting
role for Brazil.
Fit and available.
Jurgen Klopp suggesting he's not going to start Coutinho, but where does he now fit in?
Listen, I think you'll find in the next couple of weeks that Klopp will figure a way of getting him in the starting 11. He certainly won't start at the weekend, and it's quite easy for Klopp not to start him because attacking-wise, Liverpool so far in the Premier League have been nothing short of
when
fantastic.
He is fully fit, though, how does that?
He'll get him in. It's amazing how things work. You know, somebody will have a little strain or a little niggle, or they'll be suspended. There'll be something will happen, and he'll get in. And the guy is so good that he'll keep his place, and all of a sudden, hey, he's in the starting 11.
What do you mean when you say when he's fully fit? He's fully fit. He was with Brazil scoring goals.
He's not Liverpool fit, though, is he? Yeah.
All right.
Stuart, where's he going to fit in when he is fully fit, whatever that is?
Well, I don't think he's going to play in the front three because Salah and Mane play in those wide areas and then make those forward runs. Firmino plays as the centre forward and then drops into midfield when they get good possession. So I think he's going to have to play as one of the three midfield players. The positions that maybe Emre Can is playing at the moment, maybe the position that Wijnaldum is playing at the moment. So that's where I can see him coming into the team. But he'll have to do a little bit more defensive work than we've seen him do before if he's going to play in those positions.
That was the three ball that played, that Robbo mentioned, that played ever so well against Arsenal. I mean, Arsenal were terrible. Maybe that came into it. But Wijnaldum, Can and Henderson, who had a very good game against Arsenal, as did the two wide boys in the front three. And he does like Klopp because, and Klopp talked about this, Firmino's movement just drags centre-halves around and that allows the space for the wider boys to come inside or midfielders to make runs. So unless somebody picks up a strain or unless Liverpool have a fall off the chart in terms of performances or results, then Philippe Coutinho might just have to wait his turn.
However, if you turn down 150 million whatever for Coutinho, I mean, he's going to play.
Yeah. But if you're winning, Ali.
Well,
you're winning.
I understand that, but if you're making the statement of, okay, hold on a second, we are keeping this player, he's part of our present and our future, and we're going to build around this guy. He's got to be on the field.
But if I'm winning every week, if I'm playing like they did against Arsenal, and I'm not suggesting it's going to be that easy down the line, there'll be some tougher tests. But if I keep winning and producing performances like that, then. And don't forget, Coutinho made it clear he wanted to leave Liverpool. It was just Liverpool was steadfast and said no. That I wouldn't make a change. I would keep him on the bench. Now, ultimately, he'll try and squeeze him in somewhere down the line. But if Liverpool keep winning, which is obviously is good for them, then the Brazilian might have to wait.
City in fourth place, Liverpool in second. Just to refresh your memories, the game at the Etihad on Saturday. And Stuart, just to get into this, let's start by talking about Manchester City and let's talk in particular about Sergio Aguero. What is going on with him? He's 29, he can't get a game for club or country at the moment, didn't play a minute for Argentina during the international break. What is the dynamic with him and Pep Guardiola at the moment?
Well, I think it depends what system that Pep Guardiola wants to play. In the first two games, they started with a back three and two wing-backs, and it meant they could play with two up front. And that's the way I think Pep Guardiola wants to go. Then Walker got sent off in the second game, and they played quite well with a back four. They stuck with that against Bournemouth, and Aguero was left out. So I think it all depends about Aguero playing, depending on the system that Pep Guardiola wants to play. If he plays with a back three, Aguero and Jesus start up front. If not, I think Aguero could be the player that comes out the side and Jesus will play up front by himself.
But also, I don't think even in that system, in the two games they did start the season now, and it is only two games, they didn't seem as if they were gelling as a partnership together, you know, both making the same kind of runs and didn't work off each other. And maybe it was just because it's the City side have had a lot of changes and he's changing the system and, you know, it's early in the season. I don't know, but I don't think Guardiola himself is convinced that the two up top is the best way to go.
I think what has become very evident is that even since towards the end of last season, where Gabriel Jesus comes into the team, Sergio Aguero was there, and when there was a choice to be made, it was Sergio Aguero on the bench, Gabriel Jesus was playing. So we come into this season, and it's become clear that for Pep Guardiola, Sergio Aguero is not a first-choice striker. He's not. Because if he was, it doesn't matter what the formation is, he would be on the field. To me, this is more about what the perception of Pep Guardiola is of Sergio Aguero as a player than about formations. I find that Pep Guardiola, if he wanted Aguero on the field, he would be on the field. Right now, I think he believes that Aguero belongs on the bench.
I'm kind of looking at this differently. You know, Aguero started Aguero started the first two Premier League games.
Yeah,
right. And that tells you that Pep was, well, he believed in him. But his form wasn't good. He did score the winning goal against Brighton, but he did miss other chances in the two games. His actual all-round play was not very good in the two games, and so he sat him on the third one. I think it's just a case of his form hasn't been good, and that's why Pep hasn't played him recently.
Ian,
that's nice, I mean, well, there you go.
Ian, it's a bit of an enduring mystery for many in England. I mean, Aguero is still only 29. Is he really receded that much from the height of his powers?
Well, there's a lot of people here who think Pep Guardiola is looking a gift horse in the mouth. Sergio Aguero has scored 44 Premier League goals in the last 2 seasons. Only Harry Kane has done better than that. Aguero's done it season after season after season, but there's no doubt about it. Yeah, it depends on the formation, as Stuart was saying, but Gabriel Jesus is ahead of Sergio Aguero in the pecking order at the moment. So, yep, you're right. It's a bit of a mystery. I think this game might be affected a little bit because the timing's not great, is it? Saturday lunchtime, a lot of the key players in this game will have just arrived back from South America.
So his record against Liverpool, sorry, Adrian, his record against Liverpool at home, sorry to bore you, but it's actually very good.
I know you did your research on that.
His record against most teams is very good, but his record against Liverpool is particularly good at home. I mean, he's a good player. He's a great little player. And I think the difficulty is if you are going to keep benching him, how difficult is he going to be to manage? To keep him fresh enough when the bigger games come along in the Champions League, are you going to keep his head mentally right enough that he's going to come in and do a good job? Or is he going to rotate and both players have accepted that that's just going to be the case? I really don't, I'm not sure at the moment what Guardiola's thinking is.